What is going on, everyone? My name is Northy, and would it really be a round preview if I wasn't late? I am so close to being late in real time at this recording, but I am going to be uploading this one, obviously, as you can tell, pretty late, and I am doing this right at the last minute. Just give me a break, man. It has been a very, very busy week, so I'm getting on top of things and trying my best to hopefully sort things out. But before we get into things, I am going to be doing a live stream with Jason Collectibles. We are discussing everything about Team Coach 2024, what we're looking to chase, and a whole bunch of different questions that you guys can ask yourselves. We're going to be doing it all live at Sunday, 10 a.m, and I'm really hopeful that you guys will be able to join us for an awesome discussion. We're going to try and answer as many questions that we've had on our minds, and we're going to be answering questions that you guys have got for us as well. So be sure to jump on down. But without further ado, let's get into the Team Coach preview. Alright, so if you can see here at the top right, it says round 1 closes in 6 minutes. Thank God I've got my team ready. What I haven't done is my tips. So I'm going to go and do my tips right now. We're going to do it at the buzzer. Let's get the obvious ones out the way. I'm pretty sure Power will beat the Eagles. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure the Giants will beat the Roos after their win against Collingwood. I think it's a done deal. But we're going to have a look. What else are we thinking? Melbourne versus the Dogs. Now, this is a battle of two sides that everyone thinks is going to be a bit rough. So I'm going to go with... It honestly could be a toss-up. I'm going to go with the Ds because they usually get over the top of the Dogs when they match up. So I'm going to go with that one. We got Carlton versus Richmond. And with form, gonna have to go Carlton. Collingwood Sydney, this could be a really tough one. It is being played at the MCG, and at the moment, MCG Collingwood is just something you cannot mess with. So I'm gonna go with them, but I hope it's a close one. Geelong versus St Kilda. I've actually tipped St Kilda for these ones. I'm pretty sure it's at Geelong. Yeah, it's at GMHBA, so that is definitely going to play a factor. But I'm sticking with the Saints. I think they're going to do it. You got Essendon versus the Hawks next. This, honestly, I think is going to be a lot closer than we think. I am still going to go with Essendon, though. Gold Coast versus Adelaide. Looks like it's a Gold Coast. It sure is. We are going to stick with the hype train. You know what? I'm going to put my faith in Gold Coast. We're going to do it. And then the next one, Brisbane versus the Dockers. I think we're going to go Brisbane here. Although they did come off a loss not last week. Fremantle, they do have a lot to prove, and I just don't know whether it's going to be there. I'm going to go Brisbane. So, those are our round 9 tips. But I'm really sorry to everyone I've tipped. I've probably jinxed it. Let's go over to Star Powers. Now, Star Powers is a little interesting this week. We've got ourselves 2 GWS players. I did not hold back with them this week because they are up against North Melbourne. Tom Green usually is a big stat grabber, and with the way Whitfield played last week, I wouldn't imagine he'd be too far off it either. I think these two are going to be some really, really nice picks. I have gone with Josh Dunkley here. It's a bit scary because I have actually taken him out in terms of Nick Dacos. I really think Nick Dacos could do just as well, but I have a feeling with Dunkley, man. I have a feeling against Fremantle, there is a chance he does a pretty good job. Sicily was another one I was really worried about too, so we'll just have to wait and see. Well, hopefully it's not a bad pick, but Libba, I have picked you for the Trailblazer section. He has had some occasional games where he's really shown his strength, shown that he's definitely still one of the top echelon players in that dog side. Obviously, I mentioned last week, Maxi Gawn is one that I'm always going to be kind of looking out for, even though he did have a kind of poor game last week. I think that's just a one-off. Some others, Cameron can occasionally play really well. Taylor Walker, obviously, last year had a load of great games. Zorko played pretty well last week, so one we could look out for the rest of the year. But this is my Star Powers team, and I'm pretty happy with it. Let's hope that it lives up to expectation. The Ultras, though, I've got everyone in the front 3 as my Ultras. We've got Josh Dunkley, Tom Green, and Lachie Whitfield as the double points players. It could honestly go anywhere. Any of these players could have standout games. I'm just hopeful at least one of them does. So, no, I'm not really confident. I never really am, but we can only hope for the best. Last week, as per usual, didn't get it. We were in the 80s for both of them, so we can only hope that this time around we can change it up. So, best of luck to me. Next, though, we go to Top Team, and Top Team's interesting. Top Team is very, very interesting. We've got Nicky Dacos as our defender. I don't know whether it's going to be a bite on the bum. Don't think it will. Again, I do like playing safe sometimes, but I don't want to play too safe that I allow someone who I also could have picked to have a ridiculous game and outplay them, because remember, with top 4 especially, you have to get the best one. That's the way you get your cards. I have gone with Tom Green for the midfield, though. I think it was a smart pick. Either him or Josh Kelly would have been really good picks, as they are up against North Melbourne, and they do like to get their hands on the ball a lot, so we are going to stick with Tom Green. I put Tim English in. I mentioned in the review, I think, it was Tim English that I'm excited for his start. He usually does very, very well. He nearly averages 20 disposals. He's active for a ruckman, so we're going to go with him. And because of his great performance in the opening round, we're going with Isaac Heaney. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he drops off because I've picked him, but we've gone with Isaac Heaney because of his impressive performance last week. And then our top 18, some interesting ones. I've put Sheasel in the backline. I think it's a good idea because they are probably going to get bombarded in that backline, and he plays off the half back. He's going to get his disposals, hopefully a few marks and kicks and chips around the place, so he'll get his possessions there. I've chucked in Blakey because Blakey had a really impressive performance against Melbourne, and I think he's going to break out quite well this year. Sicily, again, another pretty safe pick since he's coming in this week. I am putting him in there, and we've stuck with Powell, Whitfield, and Dacos after their great performances in last week's game. But we move to the midfield. I'm keeping Dunkley again. I put the confidence in him in Star Power, so I'm putting the confidence in him in top 18. I think that's a good idea. I can only hope. We have stuck with Errol Goulden though. I don't know whether that's going to be a mistake. We're going to just have to find out. I think last week was just a bit of a down week for him, so we can only hope that he bounces back quite well. We've put in both the good GWS players that we've noticed. Kelly and Green are going in. I know that both the Melbourne boys are out because Bontempelli has also taken one of their spots. With him coming in, he's a usually safe pick. We can only hope that's going to be the case. But the scariest one of them all is the forward line. I think I only made one change in the forward line after last week. That is how indecisive I am with this team. I've stuck with Curnow. I think he's going to have a good week. But again, that is just wishful thinking. I wanted to go Tommy Papley, but I just did not see two Sydney players having great weeks back to back like they did last week. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I've even kept Bolton, and that's how little I wanted to change things up. Bolton played really poorly last week, so I'm really hoping that was just another poor week for him, and he bounces back quite nicely. I noticed that Danaher was playing against Fremantle, and although they do have a half-decent backline, I'm pretty confident they're going to be pretty good in the forward line, and he's going to get himself involved, hopefully kick a few snags. I think he only had the one in the first game of the year, so we are going to hope that it changes up this one. And then Jeremy Cameron. This is partially because I just had to make a change. I was so worried. I've taken out Jamie Elliott. Honestly, a better thing I should have done was probably take out Shea Bolton after his game last week, but because he got put in the midfield, I'm like, Jamie Elliott doesn't get put in there. Shea Bolton has more potential. You got to take the risk, and so that's what I've done. We've got Jeremy Cameron in, but in my head, there's so many players. Ryan Myers could have a pretty good game. I feel like he may be able to do something, but oh man, it's just so hard to change in the forward line. There are not very many exploitative picks in this one, so I don't know how I feel, but that is as confident as I'm going to get for this one. Top 4 last week, we finished 47th, so not that close to a prize card at all, but the 27th for top 18 meant we were 7 spots off. We need improvement this week. This has to happen. We want to aim for 1600, but 1600 may not be safe either. We'll just have to wait and see. Man, I am terrified. I am so terrified because in my head, this is the last week that you can get Nick Dacos. That's what I'm telling myself. The prize cards are so tough to get, especially Nick Dacos. If you have gotten Nick Dacos already, very smart choice. I think someone mentioned it in my comments in the review for opening round. That person, very smart. Pick up Dacos as soon as you can, because you won't have a very long time to do so if you have yourself a top 10 prize card chance. So definitely go ahead, pick one up, do it as soon as you can, because there's no guarantee he's going to be available when you get a win. So that is it. That is the preview. I'm sorry for it being late once again. I hate doing it, but here we are. So last night's game would have happened already. Hopefully it was a good one. I'm about to go and watch it right now, so I'm keen as a bean for it. But that is where I'm going to end it. So thank you all very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Everything is very much appreciated. Thank you all so much for clicking, and I'll see you all in the next one. Good